Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Carol here at Oak House Journals. If you remember, a couple of days ago I received some products from BeeBeeCrafts and did a bit of an unboxing of those products as part of their YouTube product review program, and I promised that I would come back and do a bit more of an update on the review once I had actually used the products. And as you can see here, this is a selection of some of the products that I got. Some of the products, as I mentioned in the earlier video, couldn't get my words out there, in the earlier video, were free samples that BeeBeeCraft had sent me. I chose them. But also some of the products were a personal order. The reason being, I got on their website and I was like a kid in a sweet shop. I couldn't choose the sample products that I wanted to work with, and there were other bits and bobs that I definitely wanted to play with. So I put in a personal order myself. So 10 out of 10 to them as far as I'm concerned for their website. And in terms of the samples that I chose for the review, I chose them specifically because I wanted to see how those products compared with what I already used, and to see whether I would be buying the BeeBeeCraft products in future, how they compared, whether they were as good in terms of quality, in terms of value for money, and everything else. So let me just very, very quickly run through. These were a free sample, and these were glass pearls. They're not obviously real pearls, but they're coated glass beads. And then these are like crazed or faceted beads. And I bought these, I chose these because I use pearls all the time and I wanted to see what the quality was like, and I liked the look of the colour selection. I liked the fact that they were in this little box, so I wanted to see how they worked out. I also bought these, which were agate beads. Now, if you remember, when I opened the packet of these were on a string and one of them was broken. Not the end of the world, because that broken one I've just adhered to a page with a little bit of glossy accents, because it was a straight break down the middle of the bead. And as I said originally, if there'd been more broken in the packet, then I would have given it a negative review. But given that these have come all the way from China and how they were packed, I thought that was pretty impressive that I just have the one that was broken. These jump rings, this tub selection of jump rings, and again, as I say, all the product information and the information to the BeeBeeCraft YouTube product review program will be listed down below, because it is a great program. I'm impressed with it, and certainly I was impressed enough to actually try it out. So, as I say, this is a tub of jump rings. Now, these are slightly bigger than the jump rings I normally use. These are all the same size in terms of jump rings, but my only comment about these is that I found that on occasions when I've been using them, I would have preferred to have a smaller jump ring for some of the bits that I was doing, and I will show you those in a moment. Now, that is absolutely my personal choice. I chose this size of jump ring, and I do know that they do smaller ones on their website as well. So again, that's nothing to do with BeeBeeCrafts. That's my personal preference. These faceted clear beads. Ugh, this container's a bit tight, unfortunately. There we go. This was one that I bought, and I love the range and the quality of these. I was a little bit not put out, a little bit surprised at the size of how small these were. And I thought that I would only be able to use these with a needle and thread, like seed beads, because they're about the size of seed beads, and I thought I'll never be able to use those in a project, but they wouldn't go to waste. I would be able to use them sewn onto a project. But I have to say, I have found a way around that. And it's thanks to this product. Now these are a whole selection of different sizes of jewellery findings. So some have ball heads on them, some have loops, as you can see there, and some have flat nail heads. And they're all different sizes, and you get oodles, absolutely oodles, in this little tub. Now, when I opened these, I found that a couple were bent. I didn't think they weren't bent badly, they were just curved. I didn't think that that was going to be a problem because you can always straighten them out with your jewellery tools, or jewellery pliers, I should say. But I was a little bit bothered because I thought if they're bending like this, they might be a bit too soft. The other thing that put me off slightly, and let me rewind a bit. When I say that there were some that were bent, there were just a few, not many at all. And given that you literally get hundreds in here, all of different sizes, and they were all packed in, I wasn't surprised to see that a couple were bent. But the reason it gave me a little bit of concern was because I thought maybe these would be too soft when I came to use them. I have not found that that is the case at all. These are really good quality. They have worked really well, and I've been really pleased with how these have performed. My other issue was that these are stainless steel ones, and I was a little put off when I first got them about the colour, because these, if I show you and put these next door to them, these are the ones that I normally use. Now these are silver, and I was thinking, are these going to be too grey? I mean, sometimes you want something that is not as shiny as this, so they certainly weren't going to go to waste. But for my own purposes, I tend to use the silver ones more. But I thought, well, they're not going to go to waste. Sometimes I like using gunmetal, and that's why I liked the variety of colours that I got in here, because all apart from the gold, I would use all those colours, and even sometimes I use the gold, especially for my Christmas journals and things. So it was my choice to go for the stainless steel. Again, my absolute personal preference. In retrospect and in future, I will go for the silver. In fact, I'll probably go back onto the BeeBeeCrafts website and order one of these in silver, so I've got both. But in terms of quality, these have been amazing and have performed well. And what I particularly like is the variety in sizes that I've got here. That has been really good. And also, I haven't played with ball-headed ones, and I really like using these, I found. And going back to this, if you remember, I said that the tiniest beads I thought I would only be able to use in my journals if I actually sewed them on. Now, these are slightly thinner than the ones I normally use. I just get one out, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this. These are quite thick, so I could use these, the ones I already have, in all of these except these last two sizes of beads. But what I found was that these that I got from BeeBeeCrafts are just marginally, and I really do mean marginally, thinner. If I hold that up, in fact on camera it looks a lot smaller, but it is, trust me, just slightly thinner, and it goes through all these holes without any problems whatsoever. So I'm absolutely delighted, because as you will see, I've actually used some of these smallest little beads with these pins that I got off BeeBeeCraft, and these are Panda Hall Elite jewellery findings, or I don't know what these are called. I think they're well, just jewellery findings, so, or jewellery pins. So I'm absolutely delighted with those, and as I say, even though they're slightly thinner, they still perform really, really well. I had no difficulty getting them to curve and create the loops that I wanted when I was making my beads, and I'm really happy with those. And then this was these other little beads. These were again a part of my private order, and I wanted these because I wanted the colour selection. And what I found, which was a happy accident, was the very palest beads in here absolutely match that colour there, which is a gorgeous pale blue or aqua blue. Absolutely lovely. So I have the smaller size here and the larger size there, and I think these were a 6mm and these are 4mm. So brilliant, always good. Just very quickly before I move on to show you what I've made, I'm just going to pop those to one side and get them out of camera. I also bought, if you remember, these little little glass bottles, 50 of those in a lovely container. And I also bought, whoops, a daisy, the long tubes. And these were these personal? This one was certainly a personal order. Was that one a personal order or a sample? I can't remember, but either way, I will be doing a video within a day or so of how I've used these. I have had a little play, but plan A, what I originally intended to do with these, has slightly been scuppered by the weather. So I will be doing a video on these within a day or so. So just bear with me on those. So what have I been doing? Okay, well, let me bring in all my bits and bobs because I've been busy. I've been a busy girl. Here we go. So first off here, let me just hold these. These are using some of the pearls, as you can see, and the colours, and some of them I did doubles and some of them I did singles. So as you can see, such a lovely variety of colour. I had no trouble at all using those pins, absolutely none at all. And in fact, the fact that they are this stainless steel colour has worked really well against this colour setting or this colour match of beads or pearls. All of the pearls, as I said originally, have this lovely smooth finish. Where the holes are, they were absolutely smooth, and I have to say I use pearls a lot, and sometimes when you get them they aren't that well finished off, but these certainly were. And I have to say they are a really, really nice weight. So I know that they are glass beads underneath and they will hang perfectly. So I love those. So as you can see, I made oodles. There's 40 odd in here. Well, no, 44, I think. So I had a lovely time making all those beads. The next thing I did was I used the agate beads, and oh my goodness, these are lovely, really gorgeous, beautiful to work with. So what I did, I'm hoping you're going to be able to see all these. I'm going to, where's my tweezers? I used some of my jewellery findings. This was one I already had in my stash, and obviously the lobster clasp, and I used as my pin to go through this square decorative piece and to hold the bead in place. I used one of my silver pins, but this piece here, the jump ring, if I hold that up to the camera, the jump ring is one of the jump rings from BeeBeeCrafts. It's the silver ones out of here, and I'm really pleased with how that came out, and that bead is lovely. They have almost like a watermark going through them. Absolutely beautiful, and they vary in colour as well. So this is another one I did. This one hasn't got a lobster clasp on it, but that's one of the deeper colour ones. So you've got variations in colour in those beads, and I really love those two little pieces. So enjoyed making those. So let me pop those down there. And then of course I couldn't resist it. I had to try it with a couple of beads that I had already within my stash, but again, using the jump ring from BeeBeeCrafts. And I have to say, they were a good size. They opened and closed perfectly, the jump rings. So I was pleased with how they performed. Then what else did I do? Oh, I tried making, using one of those little glass beads. Whoops-a-daisy. I made just that little wee dangle there. And this is the second to smallest size. So that is to show you that the flat-headed pin would go through that. And I will show you in just one second. Here we go. I had a go at altering some safety pins. So if I hold that one there, those are the smallest of those little glass beads with one of the BeeBeeCraft pins going through it, and I've got my tweezers through a jump ring that is BeeBeeCrafts, and that is just a bog standard safety pin. So that's one. If I get another one, that one's just got 2 beads in it, and this one's got 3, as you can see. And the camera's not really picking that up much for you, is it? These are just normal safety pins, and they are 1.5 centimetre safety pins. So that works out at just over half an inch, nearly 3/4 of an inch. And they're just normal safety pins that I had here at home. They're not the coilless ones. So they work really well with the stainless steel pins. And then I decided that I would use these beads, or those pearls rather, and do a larger one. And that's my large one there. So because they're not coilless safety pins, I've just looped it through the coil at the end of the safety pin. On these two, when I curled my pin that went through the beads round, I looped it through the coil on the safety pin and then put my jump ring at the end. On this one, I put a jump ring at the end, but I also dangled my beads off another jump ring, and both those jump rings go through the coil at the end of the safety pin. I'd seen this done I've seen it done on Pinterest, and I thought I would give it a try, because I just thought they might make nice page dangles. What else have I done? I used another of the jump rings to do this. This is just a little single jingle bell, and I use one of the jump rings on this mini paper clip, so that will hang off the edge of my page in my Christmas journal and give me a dangle. And then one more here before we move on. This was a little pill tube, if you will, and it's got a little piece of paper inside, and I've used one of the BeeBeeCraft jump rings at the top, and you can probably just see a couple of tiny little beads dangles that I've created. This one on the right here has got one of the bulb pins, and this one here, this single one on the left that I'm touching with my index finger, that one has a flat pin in it, and those beads are the smallest size of in here. So I have to say, I love that those pins will go through those. So yeah, I've been having a nice little play. I have to say, in terms of the quality of the beads, given that they're all glass beads and some of them have been really fiddly and tiny to work with, I haven't had a single broken bead. I really haven't. I've lost a good few jump rings pinging across the room, I have to say, but I haven't broken or cracked any of the beads at all, which shows how robust they are. Okay, what else have I got to show you? I also made these. Now, these are tiny, tiny little tassels, some smaller than others, made out of machine embroidery thread. And the jump rings at the end are BeeBeeCraft jump rings. I'll certainly be buying more of these jump rings when I've finished this pot. I will probably look out and see if I can find some on their website that are smaller. I know I saw some when I was looking around originally. I would just prefer to have some smaller ones in my stash, and I'm getting low on the smaller ones. So that's the only thing I would say about those. I would prefer to have some that are small as well as this size in my stash. But I will be doing a quick tutorial on how to make these tassels, because they are super, super easy, even though they are very, very small. And I think if I pop a ruler up against it, you can see that in terms of the actual tassel itself, it's 1 centimetre. And then when you put the jump ring on, it measures 1.5 centimetres. Now, some of you that have had journals from me will have had these tassels on the journals or on tags inside. I make them from time to time, just as the mood takes me. They're super easy. You think because they're so small that they're going to be difficult, but they're actually not. And as I say, I will be doing a video on how I do these in a few days. But again, in terms of the colour, I mean, these would be lovely with these beads, and that's kind of what I was hoping. All right, so that's those. I also wanted to have a play around with buttons. Now, I don't know who has done this, but it has. I think I saw these being done quite a way down the inspiration chain, if you get my meaning. So I don't know who is responsible for having come up with this idea, but whoever it was, thank you so much for your inspiration. Can I just say that? I wanted to have a go at doing these, so let me hold these up to the camera so that you can see. So I've got 2 tiny, tiny buttons there in a very soft pink, with a lobster clasp going through them. So that's one. Let me pop that down below. And this one is a mother of pearl button with another one of those tiny little buttons. I was gifted these buttons, and they're just absolutely perfect for what I wanted. This is another one. This is a blue, if I can hold it up to the camera. This is a blue mother of pearl button and a very little tiny one on top. Another one like that. This is a cream mother of pearl with almost like a little beigey one on top. Then this is a lobster clasp with 2 of the tiny buttons coming off a single jump ring. These are some buttons that I had in my stash, and I've just linked together 3 of the little buttons. And then this little cutie is a little rabbit with a tiny, tiny pink button on it. So I really had great fun making these. I used all my own lobster clasps, because obviously I didn't buy those off BeeBeeCrafts or get them as my product samples to try, but I do know they have them on their website. It was the silver jump rings that I used for all of these buttons. Okay, so that's that. And then finally I had a go at making some kilt pin brooches and using those beautiful agate beads and a few charms, and there we go. Just trying to get that in camera for you. So these I just put on various lengths of chain through a jump ring and then put one of the faceted beads on. This is just a little Christmas charm. There's another one of those little square ones with the bead in the middle. This one I made a single chain and put various of the little beads on it. Here I used this is a closure to a bracelet that I had, and where it's supposed to be one of those ones where you have a post that goes through the hole, and then this was a very, very tiny little key with a heart on it that was gifted to me, and that key is so adorable. Size wise it's a centimetre, so it's absolutely beautiful. These pins, they're quite big actually. This one is 6.5 centimetres or 2.5 inches, and I got these in a packet. I think I got these from Hobbycraft ages and ages ago. They are silver, and they were $2.45, and I think there were about 4 or 5 of these in a packet, some with 4 rings here for you to attach goodies to, or some with 5. Now I have to say I like working with the 5, but I loved playing with those colours. They were just absolutely gorgeous, and if I try and bring the camera down, you can perhaps see a little better what it looks like. And then I made another one. Let me just move that one to one side. Then I made another one in greens with some of my own little dangles here. You've seen these little sequin chains that I got off a necklace years and years ago, and it's been going strong for years, but I am getting to the end of those little goodies. And then this was a little charm that was gifted to me recently. Absolutely gorgeous. If I just try and hold it that way, maybe you can see. So yeah, just some little, oh, that one's dropped off. Oh, bad workmanship. Oh my goodness. Never mind. I'll have to close that jump ring up a little bit better. So there we go, everybody. I'm just going to try and bring you back up so that you can see all the goodies on my desk when I can get my camera to... There we go. So thank you so much, everybody. I have to say I have not got any complaints with any of the items that I got from BeeBeeCrafts at all. In fact, I'm very, very impressed with the quality of the bits and bobs that I got, and the only comments that I have are with my own personal choices, and I will be going back on their website to sort out those choices and to get extra goodies. So thank you so much, everybody, for letting me share these details with you. What I will do, as I say, is put all the information in the description box down below, and I will be back in a day or two with a review of these items and what I've done with them, and also as soon as this is loaded up on YouTube, with a bit of a tutorial about how I make these little tassels. So thanks so much, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.